back. I'll give you
Hello,
guys like
everyone, and
you're
welcome
back.
to the next edition of the
All right.
annual pod
Well,
racing
we'll
tournament.
hop up
Today
top,
we have
and
Goofbrush
you
versus
guys can go ahead and
xAdypt
wrap it
in
up top
Swiss
if you guys
round
like to
one.
do an intro. Anyways, I
We're going
do
to be starting
appreciate
off on
the
Spice My Run,
goofbrush
as
ready to
every
get this party
one of
started.
these
What
matches
up,
will be
guys?
doing this year. And today on commentary, I am joined by Bell. Thank you for joining me.
Good.
Hello,
Go ahead.
hello.
All right. This is going to be exciting.
Mhm.
We looks like there was a what happened here? There was a 5 4 3 2 1 and people are saying oops and eek. What's that? What happened here?
We might
Oh,
have readied up early a little bit.
looks like somebody started before the countdown. I see. Okay. Well, we'll get this sorted out real quick, but oh boy, is it an early match today. As T Sigma is pointing out, and to add to it, a lot of our tournament stuff that we got going on this year is thanks heavily to the legend Lightning Pirate. He handled making this incredible Sith style background for this year's tournament, and he also has went ahead and completely from the bottom up rebuilt our back end system called Bado for actually handling these matches within Discord. So big shout outs to him. He deserves everybody's gratitude for the incredible operational smoothness that we're going to be able to have on a just daily basis, pretty much when it comes to this. So if you're out there, Lightning, we thank you. Okay, so we are going to be doing a quick little restart of the countdown here. So we're going to have both players ready up once again.
You've playing Spice Mine Run backwards there.
Giving us a little bit of reverse Spiceman, but also a little bit of just straight up Zugga.
I was gonna say I thought they were on Zucker for a second there.
All right, we got a new countdown going. So in about 30 to 40 seconds here, we'll actually be able to get this party started. Just a few notes for people's reference about this track. The world record is a 338.196. Goofbrush holds a 339.605. And from what I could tell on Adept stream, he has a 341 with some decimal point. So uh, he's done some work to improve his time since the last time I was able to catch what he had. So good on him. We
Mhm.
are going to see, hopefully, both players do a little bit of a delay at the start of their restart race, which is to manipulate the position of a minecart. So if you're wondering why they don't just get right into it, that is a little bit why, but we'll get into that later.
Now, just on paper, Goof is pretty heavily the favorite to win, but it's close enough that I would say it's not quite a toss-up yet.
Yeah, and he does say that he has been relatively out of it, so he very well could actually be a bit rusty. I hate to use that word, but it is a potential uh, outcome of this. All right, that synced good enough for me. So one thing that you're going to see coming up here is both players are going to avoid boosting on this little uphill section, and that is due to it being fast terrain, and fast terrain just speeds up your pod naturally when you're on it. So you want to save your boost for when you're not on those sections. So that's why you saw both players do that. Spice Mine is also known for having very long, straight sections without a lot of turning. And so right after that fast turn, you just get to use up that whole tank. It's quite satisfying, really.
And here
So
we're
what are you
entering
looking
into-
to see here? You got
Mostly, I'm looking at how they handle market and corkscrew cage. Mostly, it's a matter of preserving heat and using it wisely in turns.
mhm. Both players are on what looks to be pretty similar paces here. I'd imagine they're both aiming for 340 to 341 range based off of their pace. And also very similar heat. Oh, goodness. We are only 11 hundredths of a second separating our two contestants. I think Goof not only had a little bit of a better lap time, but he also was on a little bit better heat. So he does have a small lead, but it is certainly not one that will hold up if too many mistakes are made. Hey. Ooh, Adept having a very precarious minecart position on that downhill there. I didn't catch exactly how long he waited through the cutscene, but based off that, it looked like he must have waited quite some time. The only reason you would have the minecart down that far on the road is if you delayed your start by quite a lot.
And that's because all the moving elements on this track are they move even when your menu is paused. Is my understanding, right? So you can wait before starting in order to manipulate where they are for better results.
Yeah, so it's as far as I understand, when you pause the game, I don't believe they move. I could be mistaken because honestly, I've never tried it, but certainly before you actually do your start, when it shows that little animation, you are perfectly good to have the whole thing just moving along while you wait for the start of the race. So you get to change your timing based off that. Now, both of them did successfully navigate around our big moving dozer friend. So they did use the manipulation correctly to avoid that on lap 3. It does get quite in your way if you're on an okay pace otherwise. All right. We still have a very even race all the way up until the finish. It's going to depend on how they end this out. I believe they're both doing relatively even. Goof did eke out a little bit more heat there. Depends on how he uses it in these corners. Oh, this is going to be a close ending. Oh my gosh.
341.24, 341,
Wow.
109. Goof takes it.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Amazing race, right to get us started off. All right. Fantastic.
Less than a tenth of a second. Wow.
That was Adept's PB right there. He PB'd against Scoop. It wasn't quite enough, but he did get it. Wow. Amazing. You have to absolutely love that. Okay, so our second track, because of the different format that we have going on this year, we are just going to be firing away on these tracks. They've been pre-selected by our racers. So our next track we're going to be going to is Prime Centrum. And Adept is questioning why he picked it, so that's a great start.
Ondo Preem, as the announcers say. Which
I
makes no sense.
really...
That is not how you say Preem. That is not how you spell Preem.
No, not even close. I could accept Ondo. That's like reasonable, but it is not Preem at all. But here we are. As far as I understand, this should be a pick that pretty heavily favors Goof, so I'm not really sure why Adept picked it either. I was kind of hoping that he had practiced it and that's why. But when he says, why did he pick it, then it does give me a massive vote of confidence.
And already we're seeing the path we're going to be seeing on lap 1 from Goof, which is you're going to dive slightly to the left onto this slow terrain in order to get better heat management for later on.
Yeah, you can get through that section by taking the shorter path, not off-road terrain on the right side, but it makes your heat very, very tight, and it's if you mess it up a little bit, you're going to be just slower than taking this off-road path. Now, the biggest gimmick to the off-road path is can you hold the boost over the whole thing at the lower
Lots of little
FPS that you
humps.
typically want to do the whole track at? It does look like Adept has again improved his PB compared to what I knew it to be. So he's got a 237, whereas Goof does have a 233 flat essentially. So that's a pretty massive lead on this track for Goof over what Adept has. But hopefully we see a good race once again. That there's a lot of points of possible mistakes to be made here, so we could easily see either of these players take a death or a massive bonk into one of these corners, especially in the hairpin section that we just watched Adept go through in practice.
Yeah, they are bonking a lot and hitting on walls. Countdown has been given. I'm a little bit nervous for Adept right now.
Yeah, I don't think that restart was actually for it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it was, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm not getting very much lack of confidence out of Goof here either. He looks very smooth and in control in this warm up. Now, anything can still happen in the race, but you want to typically see at least decent warm ups. All right, let's see what we got going on. Should see a restart here very momentarily, and it does look like Goof's gonna be ahead once again. Wow. Somehow the sync got way longer. That's always incredible.
Yeah.
Unless the depth's just being slow. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there from Goof. That might help us out a little bit. We're going to see him pause right in the most important section, though.
Oh, no. And already looks to be going wide in a way that risks that cockpit bouncing against the wall there.
Yeah, he might be about to lose a whole bunch of speed, but we will find out. He lost some, but Adept taking the significantly worse line, and he misses the reboost afterwards. That is not a good combination. All right. Still a lot of opportunity for things to happen on laps 2 and 3. Adept narrowly avoiding death on that wall there. Oh my goodness.
Yep. I was watching a dip stream. Did you catch whether Goof managed to hold the boost over that bump there?
I did not. I don't particularly pay attention to that type of thing, if I'm being entirely honest with you. It doesn't have a lot of implications for APC, but it is okay. So they both took the same path there. They could have had a branching path in that section, but I guess Goof's playing it safe, so we definitely need to see Goof make some mistakes if Adept's going to claw this back. I don't think he has the. Well, I don't think anybody could have the raw pace to make up this difference between the two racers at the moment. Even if you did like a just incredible last lap, I don't think you would really make up that gap. So we will need to see mistakes from Goof here. And Adept is burning some time on all these corners, just going that ever little bit wider. And we can see he did have a faster lap too, but I don't think that was actually due to having a faster lap too. I think it was just a little bit of a heat difference. Oh my goodness. Both of them both of them taking it kind of sketchily there. Last hairpin for both.
Oh, Adept losing a world of heat.
That is definitely not what you want to see.
And almost crashing on the ground spot there.
All right, we're coming up to the end of the race. Goof is gonna have to crash. I mean, he's gonna have to hit one of these corners, and he's gonna be clear to the end, which means that Goof is going to take race 2, the 236.365, and Adept coming in with what looks like a 239. Yep, 239.066. All right. solid times from both players, but Goof sneaking in under Adept's PB from what we could see. So Adept really didn't have that much of a chance to begin with unless he took a massive improvement of his own time. Okay. With that, we're up 2-0 for Goof, meaning we will be moving on to the next of Adept's pooled picks, which is going to be Bumpy's Breakers with Skips. What an exciting pick.
I wonder whether we're going to see any of the old strats or whether we're just going to see the wall ride, which is the more modern method.
Both these players have quite good times here, and both of them are going to be comfortable with Ben. So really, there's no reason to risk what I honestly view as a more difficult version of the skip. The wall ride variant of Bumpy's Breakers, when you do it at a high FPS, for example, like you're 60 FPS with Ben, is incredibly consistent. It's very easy to get down. And since both these players have put in the time to have good times on this track, they are going to know what it takes to get that skip. And we can see Adept getting it right there nice and easily, even holding the boost over the wall, which isn't always the most consistent thing. Well, Goof does die in practice, so maybe that rust will potentially see him miss the skip. And
not quite making short skip.
Adept going for that of all things is quite hilarious. It's more consistent at lower like a 48 FPS, which ironically makes the wall ride less consistent. So you have to sacrifice one or the other, and you're definitely not going to choose to sacrifice the main wall ride skip in a tournament setting. I would prefer to see Adept not go for that, in all honesty. I think he should just try to outrace Goof, hope he makes some mistakes, and potentially maybe even see Goof miss the skip. Ooh, Adept missing the skip in practice. That's yeah, that's never good. Now, I think Goof did find some really obscure way of getting back technically, but yeah, it's not consistent and it's not a viable tournament strat anyways. And missing this skip is going to lose you about 45 seconds every time it happens. So it really is just brutal to mess up.
One of those matches where if your opponent gets it one more time than you do, you lose. That's it.
Yep. There is absolutely nothing you could ever do to recover that amount of time. Honestly, this has been pretty sloppy warm-up from both of them, so it's perhaps a good thing that we get an extra minute of warm-up time here for skips. But that time will be coming to an end. We actually have a countdown starting in Discord, so again, roughly 40 seconds until we'll see that race start here. Adept's still going for shortest cut, and
not working
I think
out for him.
I really do think that he knows how to get the bounce relatively consistently, but the aerial maneuverability is not, it's really not there. I don't know what the holdup is, but yeah. That's the part that should be easier, really. The tube is the thing that usually kills you. But yeah, you can see Goof just going for classic shorter cut. Just the shortest version of the typical full track route. And he is doing a little bit rough practice, but I would much rather see, I guess, you die there than on the skip still. Oh, goodness. All right.
Is this the actual start, maybe?
I don't think so. I think he just tends to restart before the restart, but if it is... Oh, maybe it was. No? Okay. Or maybe it was. Maybe we've synced in the opposite direction here. That's fun. I'm going to assume that it was, and we're going to fix this. I'll have to clear out the buffer from Goof. All right. The good news is that both players have made it on lap 1. And Adept is going for a shorter cut, and he survives it this time. Okay,
Nice.
that will give him a little bit of a lead. And I think Goof is still struggling with a shorter cut. So, okay. We're going to need to see 2 more good laps regardless, and this main skip is still more important. So, as Draco always says, I don't want to call it until the last lap.
Well, you can't. It's not over until then. So you see who
52.21, excellent first lap time for Adept. And a 55.17.
Here we go. Makes it.
And both are going to completely ace the skip there. Good to see. I'd like to see both players get a 3 out of 3 here. An Adept, once again, surviving it. Very nice. Super impressive stuff from Adept here. And Goof, oh, flashing red engine. Oh, I did not like that angle from Adept, and he didn't look happy about it either.
Yep. Rage, look back.
If I were him, I would not be raging about making a small mistake like that when you've gotten shortest cut twice. 51.90 once again. Very, very good second lap here. And a 53.97 from Goof. See, these lap times from Goof aren't so bad. It's just you gotta do better. Oh, taking a death after the skip. Oh man, we are very, very lucky that he made it over that skip anyways. And it looks like Goof has actually passed him on track here. We need to see a third shortest cut. And we do. Oh my goodness. We got to race to the finish line here.
Oh my gosh. It all comes down to who doesn't bump, I think.
Oh, clean hairpin from Adept. And Goof's got a flashing red. Oh, this could be a point for Adept here. Just got to finish this last corner. I think he's got it.
I think so, yeah.
241 and 242. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That's great. Holy cow. What a fabulous effort on the on Adept's part there. Getting 3 out of 3 shortest cut and the 3 out of 3 skip in a tournament match. Unbelievable.
And what that means is that we're going to the first of Goof's picks, which is Beto's Wild Ride.
Okay, I have went ahead and reset the delay, if I could use words. So hopefully be good to go. Adept saying, I won my one race. I'm very happy. Okay, so Goof's first pool pick is going to be Beto's Wild Ride. And this is such an interesting track for tournament, in all honesty. There's a difference of using either the tent or this full track short route. And the tent is faster, but it is also a lot riskier. So I wonder what we'll see from these players. I know Goof is very good at this track. The world record here is a 2:36.7, and he has a 2:37.7, and it's just not easy to get that time at all. Okay. I think Goof probably goes for tent. Yeah, he does.
Yep.
That's not surprising. Yeah. I don't like Goof's just turn into the tent method personally, but it works well for him. He does it every year that he competes. It always scares me. Goof does have about a 3-second advantage over Adept here, as far as I know. Adept very easily could have gotten a better PB and I just don't know about it, but there's certainly no reason that he wouldn't be capable of getting a better time than a 240. That's the best time that I know from him. This track is quite straightforward, ignoring the tent and fast terrain that's in there, but it's still, in my opinion, a very scary track in a lot of ways. You can see some quite disastrous speedos times here. 53:33. I think Goof's probably aiming for a high 238 to low 239 time based off that.
Ooh. Flips
You
the corner there.
can get a 238 without doing tent, so it doesn't really become super worth doing for most players for a while, but in terms of consistently getting 238s, you can get low 238 pretty consistently with tent and not use the fast train very much, so I wouldn't be shocked if he just goes for something like that. All right, we did have a countdown, so it shouldn't be too long until we see the actual restarts to these races.
Ooh, big
Adept
bump
going
there.
Adept is going very wide on that turn. I'm a little concerned about that, but I guess we will find out. Was that
It does
Goof's
look like
actual
both players-
start to the race?
I could not say.
Surely not, right? Like, they, I can't tell. I mean,
think
I
we'll
don't
find
see
out
how
in
it.
about 30 seconds.
I guess so. I haven't been paying attention to how good Goof has been here, but I guess hopefully it's been clean. Harold, this is full track. I know I'm a little late to answering that question, given you've been watching them do full track, but it is full track. I'm thinking this is the actual race here.
Yeah.
That's a massive difference in the sinking.
Oh, no!
Oh my! Oh gosh!
And now you have the long, slow walk up the slow terrain. Oh,
Gosh.
that was horrible.
That is a very bad death to take, and also, given how long it took us to determine that this was in fact the race and how much of a sync difference there is, I think I'm just gonna not bother to sync this race, unfortunately.
Oh no, second death.
Oh. Yeah, this is this is looking like an absolutely insane pick for Goof right now. Adept does not appear to be comfortable in the slightest, and Goof is just rocking it out.
Yeah. Smooth as butter.
It is his pick, so you do want to see that, but you, of course, always hope that both players can put up a respectable effort. And while Adept is certainly putting up a respectable effort, it's definitely a lot rougher around the edges.
Yep.
Oh, 57.
Oh, go straight. I guess I get that that's not as much of an issue on this track than it is on other Underpreme tracks.
No, really, oh, Goof taking a death on the slot. That's rare. That's a rare mistake to see him make. Anyways, the fast terrain, even under ideal circumstances, is only going to save you about 3/4 of a second per lap here, and Goof is certainly not going for ideal. So, just straight question marks from Goof about that death. All right, and we see Adept. Oh, he also takes a death in the slot.
No.
And he's going to be finishing it out in the engine cam. Oh, my goodness. All right, and that's a 258.305. That is most unfortunate from Adept, but we'll be moving on to the last of Adept's full races here. Perhaps there won't be a a 20-second plus gap in their starting times this time, So that way I can actually tell it's a restart?
We can hope.
I don't know. I think xAdypt probably just missed the countdown, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about it too much. It wasn't like there was an insane, like, 5-minute delay or something. All right, so the last track from xAdept's pooled picks, which we, of course, are hoping that he takes another race so we can see some more race in action here today, is
Yep.
going to be Aqualaris Classic, the quintessential track for learning this game, at least if you ask me.
Hmm. We heavily recommend all
And
beginners start on this one to learn their basics.
and in all honesty, I don't really know why xAdypt would pick it. I don't mean to say it like that, but it's one of the most consistent tracks in the game, and that's not usually how you want to cause an upset to happen. Now you're just really hoping that Goof gets greedy rather than trying to force mistakes or have faster strats like he did on Bumpies. So, well,
Oof.
Goof did die there. It's one of the most annoying deaths to take on this track. It's right where you want to take the line, and so if you just clip it slightly wrong, you just die every time. And he's gonna be sticking with those strats. That doesn't surprise me. All right, so for reference, here the record is a 235.111. Goof has a 235.7, and xAdypt, as far as I could tell, had a 238. I didn't see what he had on screen there for his actual uh like in-game time, so it might be faster, but to be frank with you, unless you have a 236 of some kind, I would not be taking Goof here.
I mean, I don't have a 236. I don't have a 237.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Goof is dying a lot, so to his credit, it might work out, but
Yeah.
it's just a scary pick. How good Goof is on the track.
Countdown has been given, so hopefully in around 20 seconds here, we should see the actual race start.
And hopefully with a reasonable restart race this time. I would love to see this race right up neck and neck. We've had some very good races so far, though, so I guess I can't be too greedy. All right, Goof's getting ready. This is whatever his is going to be the restart, and xAdypt presses restart. Perhaps this will be it. I think it is. And we're just gonna adjust this slightly. All right.
xAdypt not even attempting the wall ride or to... Oh, no. Oh, xAdypt, that's not how you play this track.
Yeah, those are very, very conservative strats. And when I say conservative, I really mean ancient technology because the normal strats are also fairly safe. All right, Goof. I mean, you could see just the raw pace difference already showing up a little bit here.
Like a solid
Yeah.
second ahead just on curves alone.
I wouldn't go that far. I would say, oh, I guess I gotta see their heat here. Oof. Oh, well, now it doesn't matter.
Oh, rip.
Ah. xAdypt is going for right side. I don't know if that's because he died or just because he was going to do that anyways, but it's kind of weird you would go for that if you aren't even going to go over this hill. But now we definitively need to see a pretty massive, massive crash from Goof here. Otherwise,
Ooh,
oh my
no.
gosh. I hesitate to call something unlucky, but that bounce into the door, barely missing the door. Like, oh, come on. That's unlucky. Goof continuing to fly through, and now is going to need to find a way to die twice before the end of the race for Adept to even have a chance. And again, I don't think that's all that likely, unfortunately. So we might be seeing the absolute last laps of either of these racers for this match today. All right, Goof makes his way through the doors, coming up to this kind of almost a hairpin. He does have Clegg on, so he's got to navigate around Clegg, and he does so.
Adept also smooth through the doors, but it's a bit too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's been racing that badly. It's just those two deaths really put the nail in the coffin here. Goof pulling up with a very solid time, and it's a 2:37.4.
460.
I do believe that's better than Adept's PB here, so that is a little unfortunate. But with those two deaths, yeah, that's gonna seal the deal. All right, very awesome. See if we can get these players in for interviews. Adept saying he'll be a couple minutes, so I guess we'll we'll stall slightly. Welcome, Goof.
Hello.
Congratulations on the win today. Yes, hello.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Is my mic okay, by the way?
Yeah,
A little
yeah.
scratchy, but yeah.
Yeah, feel good. First match back in a while.
Yeah, it has been a little bit. I mean, very clean racing for the most part. I mean, you only had one death the entire match, so that's very nice.
Yeah, and it was a really weird death. Maybe I wasn't like paying attention, but I don't even think I hit like any wall or anything.
At least visually, from what I saw, you looked like you were dead in the middle. So I'm assuming that you barely clipped the like corner of the exit on the right, but I couldn't really tell. And you died
Yeah.
instantly too. It wasn't like you lost an engine or something.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
I might have accidentally like untilted for a frame or something. But yeah, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely looked very good out there and put up some solid times too, especially since you're just getting back to things. So I think by the time we get to later on in the tournament, you're going to be one heck of a threat to anybody who plays against you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like in past tournaments I've played like way too risky, so I'm just sort of, at least for now, since I'm so rusty as well, just playing it insanely safe.
Yeah, I get you. Welcome, Adept. GG.
Good racing out there.
That was super impressive Bumpy's time that you got there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I actually did practice, and I've been pumping out 235s, but I just had to take a death.
235s, man. That's to be getting those consistently. That's pretty crazy. I mean, really, what FPS are you doing that at, anyways?
4820.
Okay. To get the main skip to be consistent enough to make that worth doing on 4820 is that's crazy. I do not like doing that skip at 48 FPS in tournament.
I think a
Yeah,
lower
I knew.
FPS would have helped me a bit. Because of the hairpin, like I just took so much damage each lap on the hairpin because I was at high FPS.
Yeah, that was definitely rough on that part. You two got to the hairpin on lap 3 at like the exact same time because Adept got the shortest cut a third time after dying. It was really incredible, and then that difference was just easier FPS to get through that hairpin, and you obviously bonk in some more. So
Yeah.
good racing, and I mean that opening race as well. Wow, just wow! You guys really put up a banger of a match. So I appreciate you guys doing just all the hard work on the back end, getting your everything worked out with warm-ups and whatnot too.
I really thought you were going to be playing on console, because I think most of my picks were like pretty friendly towards console, at least, because I didn't want to because I think you can be like really unfair if you're playing against the console player and just pick tracks that like will just you just have such a big advantage.
Good luck, I'm a
Yeah,
classic nerd.
Yeah, right. Like both the classic FMR and VVG against an Xbox player, that would be brutal.
Do you play on PC a lot then? Because I thought you were
Yeah,
just
I
a
started on
console.
Xbox.
All right. But yeah, I thought you were like a mainly like console player, and I didn't realize you played on PC at all.
Yeah, I upgraded.
I
Accurate
think
assessment.
all of us had to do that.
Bell, are you? I think you're the only one in this call who actually started on PC for speedrunning, right?
Yes, I am.
I had a very brief stint on Switch before Ace talked me into PC, but
Yes, I have been on PC, keyboard, and mouse since 1999.
oh goodness.
Granted, I wasn't speed running back then because I was 9, but
What? No.
no, I
But-
tell a lie briefly. We did have a joystick back then, but mostly keyboard and mouse since then.
That's the best time to start speedrunning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably. Gotta get them young.
Right.
Oh goodness.
That's funny.
All right. Well, great match once again, guys. I really enjoyed it, and thank you again for joining me on commentary, Bell. It's
Of course.
quite fun. We do have another match later today. We're going to be having Mikey Burger versus you, in fact, Bell. So
Yep,
good
in
luck
about
on
2 hours,
that.
You're gonna, yeah. I'm gonna need more than luck.
yeah. Mike's something else. That's for sure. That's gonna be
I think we're gonna-
myself once again on commentary, along with Digital Unity. So that'll be a great time. And once again, I just want to give a massive shout out to a few people. First of all, SpeedGaming for letting us host this tournament here just every year. This is, I believe, what is the 6th or 7th iteration of the tournament. It started in 2019, so it's going strong. Appreciate it. And also all the tournament staff, and especially Lightning Pirate for putting so much work into the back end of things. Got this amazing mall-inspired layout for tournament, and just so much convenience on the back end for getting these races going. So just massive shout out to him for all of his hard work this year.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, thanks to everybody who watches, making this worth our time and worth the effort of getting things up on stream. So be sure to stick around for some more pod racing in, I think it's about an hour and a half. And
About an hour and a half,
until
10
then,
o'clock.
Yep, may the force be with you.
Of course.
Thanks, everyone.
Let's host this tournament here just every year. This is, I believe, what is the 6th or 7th iteration of the tournament. It started in 2019, so it's going strong. Appreciate it. And also all the tournament staff, and especially Lightning Pirate for putting so much work into the back end of things. Got this amazing mall-inspired layout for tournament, and just so much convenience on the back end for getting these races going. So just a massive shout out to him for all of his hard work this year. And of course, thanks to everybody who watches, making this worth our time and worth the effort of getting things up on stream. So be sure to stick around for some more pod racing in, I think it's about an hour and a half. And
About an hour and a
until
half. 10
then,
o'clock.
yep, may the force be with you.
Of course.